Part 58. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 571. Chapter 571. The Tang family adds a great-grandson for. What's wrong? Do you have appointments with other friends? Lu Rong did not show any displeasure. She still looked like a loving mother, smiling gently. Mommy, I have an appointment with a friend. I will come back to talk to my second brother about something, and I will leave soon. Tang Xingai smiled and waved his hand, and jumped out quickly. Lu Rong didn't even have time to say anything, and the person was gone. Gone. Why is this kid running so fast? Lu Rong looked at her son running away and said with a smile. Seeing her son, who was her hope for the future, her eyes always softened a little. Tang Xingai ran out anxiously, closed the door, exhaled loudly, and covered his face with annoyance. Why did you run out? What to do? I finally worked up the courage, but when I ran in, I met my father who was angry. Oops. Why didn't you break the jar just now? Your courage was instantly taken away. Tang Xingai rubbed his hair in annoyance and jumped up and down. Xingai, my girlfriend's gentle voice came from not far away. Tang Xingai's body stiffened in an instant, and the expression on his face immediately changed from annoyance to innocent eyes. He suppressed his mouth and smiled at his girlfriend without his eyes, forming a straight line. Yang Yanliu looked at him with her beautiful almond-shaped eyes, her expression a little anxious. She walked to him and looked at him with her gentle eyes. What are you doing? Luer, I. Tang Xingai looked confused and reached out to scratch his head, his eyes becoming more and more innocent. What's wrong? Didn't you say anything? The expression on Yang Yanliu's face immediately became disappointed, and the eyes staring at him became lonely. His eyes immediately turned red, and he lowered his eyes lonely. Luer, don't cry, don't cry. Tang Xingai held his girlfriend's face distressedly and bent down to look at her. I'm sorry, Luer, I didn't mean not to say it. It's really not suitable for today's occasion. Yang Yanliu bit her lower lip and grabbed his clothes. Tears instantly fell down. Her pitiful appearance made people feel pity for him. I see. Luer, don't cry. My heart breaks when you cry. When Tang Xingai saw his girlfriend burst into tears, he was completely panicked and hurriedly wiped the tears from her face, extremely anxious. Luer, don't cry. I really didn't mean not to say anything. I am a responsible person, and I will definitely take responsibility for the trouble I cause. Then why didn't you say anything? You've been wandering around at the door for half an hour just now. After finally getting in, he came out in less than 3 minutes. Yang Yanliu cried even more sadly, and her tears fell faster. Tang Xingai awkwardly wiped the tears on her face. Seeing the tears falling even harder, he grabbed his girlfriend's hand and felt worried. I'll take you in now. Yang Yanliu's face was filled with joy, tears still hanging in the corners of his eyes, and he quickly wiped the tears on his face. Tang Xingai walked a few steps, and as soon as he held his hand on the handle, he heard a roar from Tang's father inside the door, and he immediately retracted his hand in fright. Yang Yanliu looked at her boyfriend and heard the roar from the door again, and her eyes turned red again. Tang Xingai explained anxiously that he had been afraid of his father since he was a child. When he heard his father roar, no matter how much courage he had, he was scared away. Luer, look, my father is angry. Don't cry yet. Tang Xingai became even more confused when he saw his girlfriend crying again. While coaxing her, he was struggling in his heart. Yang Yanliu grabbed Tang Xingai's arm and shook her head gently. Tears fell as her head moved. She looked so pitiful and beautiful. Space. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 572. Chapter 572. The Tang family adds a great-grandson. 5. The tears fell as the Yang Yanliu's head swayed, So pitiful and beautiful. I know, I can understand, I just won't go in, let's go. Yang Yanliu gritted his teeth and turned around to leave, with his head hanging down and his hands tightly clasped. His back looked so lonely and disappointed. Seeing his girlfriend's sad look, Tang Xingai was troubled and distressed, and immediately ran over and hugged Yang Yanliu from behind. Luer, I know I was wrong. I wasn't brave enough. I shouldn't have done this. Don't worry, I will definitely be responsible for you and I will never let you down. Tang Xingai said solemnly, with a little more determination in his heart. Xingai, after much thought, I still don't want to go with you to see your family, Yang Yanliu said sadly. Why? Tang Xingai's voice suddenly rose. He let go of his girlfriend and ran in front of her, watching her lower her head and not dare to look directly at him. I always feel that this is wrong. I am only 16 years old and we are still children. How can we have children? Yang Yanliu covered his lower abdomen with his hand and looked up at Tang Xingai sadly. Tang Xingai fell to the ground with a thump in his heart, and the confusion on his face instantly disappeared and turned into shock. Luer, what do you mean? I think we'd better not want this child. No, Tang Xingai's voice suddenly rose and he looked at his girlfriend in disbelief. Why not? That is our child, our baby. Tang Xingai stared at his girlfriend. He didn't expect her to have this idea. Is it because he backed away just now and made her feel insecure? Tang Xingai regretted it in an instant. He knew that his girlfriend was pregnant a week ago, and the two of them were at a loss during this time. Although we have been together for a long time, we can't find a solution. Although they are both smart children, they don't know what to do when faced with an unexpected pregnancy. After all, they had just turned 16, and legally they could not even register their marriage. They were still underage. Faced with the consequences of tasting the forbidden fruit, they simply don't know how to deal with it. For this reason, Tang Xingai found his second brother Tang Feishan to help them find a solution together. Tang Feishan was only briefly shocked when he heard that their young couple had actually killed someone. Instead, he was more envious. He and Lili went through so many hardships just because they didn't have children. If they had children, they wouldn't be opposed by their families now. They are all children, and they don't know what to do when faced with this kind of thing. Even though they didn't know what to do at first, they never thought of aborting the child. After they found out they were pregnant, all they thought about was how to raise the child, so Tang Feishan suggested that they take Yang Yanliu home directly and tell their elders about giving birth to a child. For ordinary families, if they have children at this age, they must not be able to raise them, because the parents themselves are children. But for the Tang dynasty family, which was one of the wealthiest in the country, this problem would not arise at all. If you have a child, just give birth to it, and the parents will not raise it at all. Having one more child is nothing to the Tang family. Tang Xingai listened to his brother's advice and struggled for several days. He never dared to bring his girlfriend because he was afraid of being scolded by his father. It took a lot of effort to muster up the courage, but because Tang's father was angry, he temporarily backed down. Your heart-rending Majesty. They are really just kids. Still two babies. They are really just kids. Still two babies. Next update at 5 o'clock. There will be more updates today. 8 updates today. There will definitely be more updates. Must. Crying blindly. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 573. Chapter 573. The Tang family adds a great-grandson 6. From the time he found out that his girlfriend was pregnant, he never thought about aborting the child. He believed that if he had a child with the woman he liked, he should give birth to it, and he never thought about aborting the child. Hearing that Yang Yanliu proposed abort today, he was shocked beyond words, and even more so, he couldn't believe it. Luer, how could you have such an idea? That's a life. I. Yang Yanliu covered her mouth and cried sadly. I don't want to either, but I'm also at a loss. You are not allowed to have such thoughts in the future. I am a responsible man. I will take good care of our children. I will never let you be wronged. You have to believe me. Yang Yanliu looked at him and nodded alternately. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said such irresponsible words, baby, mommy is sorry for you. Yang Yanliu covered his belly and apologized, tears falling like a kite with a broken string. Seeing his girlfriend's sad look, Tang Xingai reached out distressedly to hug her into his arms and comforted her softly. Don't worry, I will definitely tell my parents. Dad is angry today. I'm afraid he will turn his anger on you if we go in. We will come back in a few days to formally introduce you to my family. Well, don't take too long, I'm afraid of my stomach. Yeah, I know, I'll take you back first. Yes, Yang Yanliu nodded meekly. Just as they were about to leave, a man and a woman suddenly came over. They saw the young couple hugging each other and said hello with a smile. Xingai, you're such a good boy, you brought your girlfriend home, and we're still hanging out together at the door of your house. Do you think I won't teach you a lesson? A sweet voice came from behind Tang Xingai. Yang Yanliu looked up and saw Fang Qingguo's big face and the sunny and handsome guy beside her. She pushed Tang Xingai away shyly, turned around and wiped the tears on her face, so as not to let her embarrassment be seen. Tang Xingai turned around and greeted them. Cousin, brother Ji. Ha ha ha. You can do it, kid. Ji Fan held Xingai's head between his arms and hit his head with his left hand. Have you ever heard of showing affection and dying quickly? Are you bullying your brother Ji for being single? Tang Xingai protested. Brother Ji, are you single? It only takes a minute for you to be single. What's more, you often have different female companions around you. You have no shortage of women at all. Don't say you are so pitiful, okay? I'm envious. Ji Fan clenched his fists and tightened his hands. TCH, I don't envy you. Why do I need so many girlfriends? I only have Luer. Tisk, this kid is addicted to showing affection and must be punished. Fang Qingguo ran over and used his fists and feet to hit Tang Xingai's body more. Help, Luer, help, Tang Xingai screamed wildly. Poor him, the two of them joined forces and gave him a severe lesson. Their protest failed. They were so inhumane. It's useful to ask Yanliu for help, just accept the punishment of showing affection. Fang Qingguo quickly attacked Tang Xingai, laughing and joking. Seeing them get along, Yang Yanliu's gentle face gained a little more smile, and the sadness disappeared. Hurry, I heard that dinner has just started, let's go in quickly. Ji Fan was here to eat today and dragged Tang Xingai inside. Ha! Tang Xingai waved his arms, do you want to go in? End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 574. Chapter 574. The Tang family adds a great-grandson. 7. Ha! Tang Xingai waved his arms, do you want to go in? Wait a minute, I'm not going in. Tang Xingai tried hard to get away from Ji Fan, but Ji Fan didn't care about him and dragged him in with a laugh. If you don't report properly during mealtime, you'll just be making love outside, right? Yanliu, let's ignore him and go in to eat. I'm going to starve to death. Fang Qingguo pulled Yang Yanliu to go in. Yang Yanliu's expression changed as he broke away from Fang Qingguo's arm. Sister Qingguo, I'd better not go in. You can just go in. Huh, why? Fang Qingguo looked at her puzzled. Don't you want to lose weight and don't want to eat? Or do you want to go to the world of two later? I accidentally got dog food sprinkled on my face again. Fang Qingguo pouted his mouth in dissatisfaction. Next time you go on a date, come and have dinner with me today. Yang Yanliu frowned and looked at Tang Xingai helplessly. Tang Xingai had been taken away by Ji Fan a long time ago, and no matter how hard he struggled, it was useless. Brother Ji, I'm not going in, don't be like this, Tang Xingai struggled, but the door had been opened. The people inside also heard the sound coming from the door, and several people looked over at the same time. Tang Xingai stiffened and covered his face with his hands. He was so confused about whether to come in, but his cousin and Ji Fan came, and he was half pushed in. Fang Qingguo couldn't see anything wrong between Yang Yanliu and Tang Xingai at all, so he happily pulled Yang Yanliu in. He was a little strong and almost dragged Yang Yanliu in. LV Rong, who was dining at the table, looked at the unfamiliar Yang Yanliu for a second, then looked at her precious son, and a smile immediately appeared on her face. Xingai, why are you back? Didn't you say you were going out to eat with your friends? Fang Qingguo pointed at Tang Xingai and said with a smile. This brat was showing affection to his little girlfriend at the door, but I forced him in and planned to stay and have dinner with me. Fang Qingguo often came to the Tang family, so he was familiar with the family and took Yang Yanliu to sit down at the dining table. Lu Rong's curious eyes fell on Yang Yanliu. Who is this little sister? Is she Mr. Ji's sister? Yang Yanliu was a little nervous and didn't dare to look at anyone in the Tang family, but he still said hello politely. Hello, Grandma, Uncle, Aunt, I am Yang Yanliu. Your surname is Yang. Lu Rong raised her eyebrows slightly, holding her head and trying to remember. Which Yang family's daughter you are? I don't think I've seen you before. Although she doesn't know the daughters of wealthy people with the surname Yang in the country, she has basically seen all the rich girls in the city. In her impression, there is no rich girl named Yang who is the girl in front of her. And judging from how they get along with each other, they should be quite familiar with each other. The person who can come with Ji Fan and the others may be some Chinese or a wealthy lady from other cities. LV Rong preconceived the idea that the friends around a rich man like Ji Fan must have good status. Just like Ji Fan's family background is better than that of the Tang family, he will naturally not look down upon Yang Yanliu. Yang Yanliu was very nervous, and Tang Xingai could tell. He walked to his girlfriend and smiled silly at his mother. They were all pulled in, and even Tang Xingai's first step out was shattered. Mom, Lu'er is my girlfriend. Tang Xingai rubbed the back of his head in embarrassment. Girlfriend, she's pretty. I didn't expect my son to have good taste. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 575. Chapter 575. The Tang family adds a great-grandson. 8th. Girlfriend? She's pretty. I didn't expect my son to have good taste. Lu Rong's gentle face remained unchanged. Looking at Yang Yanliu's quiet and gentle look, she really had some charm in her. I thought the type my silly boy would like would be a girl with the same cheerful personality as him, but I didn't expect that the girlfriend I found would be so quiet and gentle. Tang Xingai proudly raised his chin and said proudly. I don't even know who your son is, how can I have bad taste? My Lu'er is considerate and gentle, and is the best girlfriend in the world. Tang Xingai leaned against Yang Yanliu and gave her a heartwarming smile. The smile was bright, revealing 2 small tiger teeth. I didn't expect that after taking the first step, the rest would become more natural. I was struggling at the door for so long just now, but now I bring my little girlfriend in, and I feel relaxed both physically and mentally. Judging from the look of her mother, she likes Lu'er very much. Tang Xingai didn't know that his mother misunderstood that Yang Yanliu was the child of a wealthy family. If she had known, she might not have thought so. Having prepared bowls and chopsticks for 4 more people, Lu Rong greeted everyone with a smile. If you don't mind, let's sit down and eat together. Auntie, you're welcome, We're just here to eat. Ji-fan was also polite and had already picked up his chopsticks to devour the food. Tang Xingai took his girlfriend to sit on the edge, and Tang Yuj sat next to him. Tang Yuj stared at his younger brother with a sophisticated look. This guy has a problem. I heard that they have been dating for more than half a year. Why do you suddenly want to take him home? There was no warning at all. Although the younger generations of the Tang family basically knew about Yang Yanliu's existence, they hid it from their elders. Dad Tang's face became much warmer now, and there was still a smile on his face when guests came to visit. I wonder if Mr. G likes the food? If you like it, you can come more often in the future. I like it, so I come here more and more recently. If I can eat my sister-in-law's cooking next time, I'm willing to report on it every day. Ji-fan pointed to Qian Yuman. Qian Yuman's cooking skills have now become famous. She started to study cooking when she was studying, and she is particularly talented in this area. In addition, she worked in a 5-star restaurant before, and the chef there taught her a little bit, so if she opened a restaurant with her cooking skills, she would definitely make a lot of money. I made it for my mother when I was studying, and later I gave it to Tang Yuj. Many of his friends have tasted it, 1 or 2. Although she has been cooking more and more recently, she still feels very proud every time she hears people compliment her on her cooking skills. Tang Yuj heard his friend's words and immediately pointed the machine gun at him. You are all afraid of my wife being able to cook. My wife is not a chef. Don't think about slaving my wife every day. The dishes my wife cooks can only be mine. Don't think about my granddaughter-in-law's cooking skills. She can't work too hard now that she's pregnant. However, Xiao Yuer, you can't forget Grandma. Grandma also wants to eat Xiao Manor's cooking. That's Grandma. Ji-fan heard this and started to act up, making all kinds of noises and making sure to get something to eat. Tang Yuj, if you dare to hide your wife's cooking skills, believe it or not, I will your wife away and become my cook. Come if you are able. Tang Yuj was not afraid and directly extended the invitation. With Ji-fan joining the family, the atmosphere in the Tang family finally changed from one filled with smoke to one filled with laughter. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 576. Chapter 576 Just a Child 1. Lure, eat more. Tang Xingai put the vegetables into Yang Yanliu's bowl and urged her to eat more. Yang Yanliu shook his head. You can eat it yourself. I don't have a very good appetite. No, you have to eat more now. Even if you don't want to eat, you have to eat more now. She has the body of 2 people, how can she eat less? Now 1 person eats and 2 people make up for it? Tang Xingai saw that their atmosphere was okay, so he whispered into Yang Yanliu's ear. Lure, I think so. You should talk to my parents about this matter in a few days. I think my mother likes you very much. I'll talk to her in private first so that I can have someone to help me then. Yang Yanliu's eyes flickered slightly, a little disappointed, but he still nodded slowly in agreement. Just because Tang Xingai didn't see what Lu Rong was thinking, it didn't mean that she couldn't. Xingai's mother asked her which family she was from. She had guessed that his mother had misunderstood her and thought she was a child of a rich family. His mother seemed to like her quite a lot, but she mistakenly thought she was a rich lady. If she knew that she was just a child from an ordinary family, she might be different. Tang Xingai diligently carried food to his girlfriend and put a piece of his girlfriend's favorite fish into her bowl. The fish made by my chef is delicious, you can try it and see. Yang Yanliu nodded meekly, picked up the fish and brought it to his mouth. Putting the fish into her mouth, she chewed it for a few bites and frowned slightly. Her favorite fish was not delicious at all at the moment, and was even very fishy. After finally eating the fish, I suddenly felt nauseated. Yang Yanliu turned his head, covered his mouth and retched several times, his crooked eyebrows wrinkled in discomfort. Luer, are you okay? Tang Xingai anxiously picked up a glass of water and handed it to his girlfriend. Yang Yanliu shook his head and refused. He retched a few times, but still felt uncomfortable. He immediately sent the fish meat in the bowl to Tang Xingai's bowl. This fish is so fishy. Is it fishy? Tang Xingai immediately put the fish meat into his mouth and chewed it several times. It's delicious. It's even better than usual. Tang Yuj kept chatting and laughing with Ji Fan, but Jian Yuman noticed what the young couple were doing from beginning to end. As someone who has been there, I raised my eyebrows when I saw Yang Yanliu's disgusted look. Yanliu looks so similar to her, very much like a pregnant person. Pregnant? No. How old are they? She wished she was overthinking it, so she didn't say anything and just observed quietly. There were quite a few people present, and Lu Rong paid more attention to them because Yang Yanliu was his son's girlfriend. Although she was a child, she still paid more attention to them. There was someone else present who noticed it, and that was Grandma Tang. Seeing Yang Yanliu retching, her wise and serious eyes stared at her with a hint of solemnity. Being stared at by Grandma Tang, Yang Yanliu felt something wrong all over, and froze up. He did not dare to look directly at Grandma Tang, so he could only eat some light vegetarian dishes. Xingai, your girlfriend is not pregnant, Grandma Tang asked directly, unlike others who observed quietly. Tang Xingai's body froze instantly, and the expression on his face also froze. He Tang Xingai laughed awkwardly and did not answer directly. Answer me right away, Grandma Tang slapped the table with an imposing manner. Yes, Tang Xingai was still very afraid of Grandma, so he said everything after being so frightened. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 577. Chapter 577 Just a child too. Answer me right away, Grandma Tang slapped the table with an imposing manner. Grandma Tang's question immediately silenced all those who spoke, and all looked at Tang Xingai. Pregnant? They. Everyone's eyes were very strange, and they looked at Tang Xingai and Yang Yanliu with a little more scrutiny. They seemed to be very young. Children who are only a few years old, students who are still in the first year of high school and will soon be in the second year of high school, how could they possibly be pregnant? But seeing Grandma Tang's serious look and the way Yang Yanliu had vomited just now, everyone's minds were spinning rapidly. Yang Yanliu was immediately dumbfounded. He hunched his shoulders and lowered his head, like a child who had made mistakes, not daring to look at everyone. His hands were clasped tightly, and his breathing became long. Tang Xingai responded immediately when facing everyone's gaze and Grandma's scary momentum. Yes. Tang Xingai's answer made the atmosphere around him suddenly become strange. Tang's father's eyes changed, and he became ugly out of control. If he hadn't seen Ji Fan present, he would have slapped the table and yelled. You stinky boy! Tang Wentao gritted his teeth and tried to maintain his grace. Fang Qingguo and Ji Fan looked at each other and finally understood the reason why the two young lovers refused to come in at the door. It seemed that they were debating whether to come in just now. Jian Yuman is a people's teacher, and Tang Xingai and Yang Yanliu are her students. Although she internally opposed children falling in love, she directly did things that only adults can do, and she was frightened by such a serious matter as pregnancy. Oh my God! What are the children doing nowadays? An unexpected pregnancy at such a young age. It's not an embarrassing age either if you give birth or not. She has graduated and is already married. Both of their friends don't know what love is yet, and they have never experienced it in society. They are just children and don't understand anything. It would be too cruel to abort the child, after all, it is a life. Born to Do they have the ability and ideas in this area? Nowadays, high school students and even junior high school students do not cherish themselves. The result of trying the forbidden fruit is pregnancy, and in the end, miscarriage is the final result. Many tragic things have happened for this reason. There are a lot of news about people who go to black clinics to have abortions that lead to death or lifelong infertility. Unexpectedly, what they teased them about in Berlin has become a reality. And it's only been half a month since Berlin, so they had before Berlin. Young people today cannot do this when following fashion. Disgusting Tang Xinglu twisted her waist and taunted Yang Yanliu in disgust. Shut up, Lu Rong turned around and scolded her daughter. At this moment, the gentle expression on Lu Rong's face finally changed. She never expected that when she met her son's girlfriend for the first time, she also knew that she was going to be a grandmother. Her expression was completely wrong. Although she still had a smile on her face, her eyes changed slightly when she looked at Yang Yanliu. LV Rong tried her best to smile, like a loving mother, and asked Yang Yanliu in a gentle voice. Do your parents know about your pregnancy? Yang Yanliu nodded gently. No. Her pregnancy could not be hidden from her parents at all. Her period had not come for 2 months, and her mother had already noticed it. Her mother was the first to notice the changes in her body. The comment area has been inactive recently. What are you doing? Leave a message. If you don't leave a message, I will torture them to death. I know you want to see the sugar baby being tortured, so I will torture little Manman, he he he. Today I said I would update 8 times, but I broke my promise. Ah. Your Majesty wants to lose weight, so let's update tomorrow. Don't not love me. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 578. Chapter 578 Just a Child 3. The scene became awkward for a while, and no one said anything. Grandma Tang's expression was serious, Father Tang suppressed his anger, Lu Rong couldn't see through it, Tang Xinglu was disgusted, and most of the others were surprised. The air became more and more oppressive, and the pressure on Yang Yanliu increased. One person bore everyone's attention. It turned out that the feeling of being watched by his family was so uncomfortable, especially the sight of Grandma Tang and Father Tang. It was simply not something she could bear at her age. Yang Yanliu's body began to tremble, and Tang Xingai noticed it immediately and gently held her hand under the table to give her reassuring strength. Grandma, Dad, Mommy. I know you will think that we are too young to get married and have children. But I like Lu'er, and I want to take care of Lu'er and the children. I want to treat Lu'er and Lu'er like a man. Children are responsible. Responsible? How old are you that you want to get married and have children? Tang's father glared at his youngest son with sharp eyes. At the age of 16, you want to get married and have children, which is ridiculous. Dad, we have a child. They are the flesh and blood of our Tang family. No matter what, I will give birth to the child. I want your support when I go home today, Tang Xingai said firmly. In this week, I will give him enough time to think about the future. Although we are still young, there is always a first time for everyone. Lu'er and I will be good little dads and moms. Tang's father is going to be furious. In just a short time, the most obedient son has been quarreling with him over his fiancée, and even the youngest son has made other people's daughters pregnant. Is it the younger daughter's turn next? Can't every one of them be behaved? Are they all going to him off and despise him for not living long enough? The atmosphere became oppressive again, and only the sound of breathing could be heard. Grandma Tang sighed. Let's eat first. We'll talk about it later. Today is not the right time to talk about this matter. There are guests around, and you can't make decisions in front of them. Grandma Tang has spoken, but everyone still eats quietly. The atmosphere has finally become heated again, but this time it can no longer be heated up. Everyone had different expressions and had something on their mind, and they had a depressing lunch in silence. Yang Yanliu was like a little quail at the moment, eating quietly, but his appetite was so bad that he stopped eating after only a few bites. After lunch, the young couple Tang Xingai were called away. Grandma Tang, Dad Tang, and three elders, Lu Rong, sat opposite the young couple Tang Xingai. Dad Tang's expression has always been very bad. Even though he knew that he was going to be a grandfather again, he still couldn't be happy. Even if Grandma Tang, who is conservative in thinking, disagrees, she already has children, and it will not help if she disagrees with them being together. Her serious eyes fell on Yang Yanliu and Tang Xingai. What do you want to do next? Let's get engaged to Lu'er first, and then give birth to the child. When we get married, we will register our marriage. Tang Xingai expressed his thoughts. What about you, Grandma Tang asked Yang Yanliu. I listened to Xingai, Yang Yanliu replied in a low voice. The young lovers kept holding hands tightly, giving each other courage. How old are you when you have children? Are you still thinking about getting married? When you are still studying seriously at such a young age, you don't need to be exposed to the adult world early. The boys from the Tang family are all passionate and responsible. Please give your majesty a beating for such a man. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 579. Chapter 579 Just a Child 4. How old are you when you have children? Are you still thinking about getting married? When you are still studying seriously at such a young age, you don't need to be exposed to the adult world early. Tang's father yelled at Tang Xingai angrily. In the past few days, he has been hit one after another, and such a young son has begun to suffer from love. Even the younger son, who is underage, has begun to fall in love and become a father. Dad, I am no longer a child, I am a man, a responsible man. Tang Xingai held his girlfriend's hand and said loudly. He knows better than anyone else what he is doing. He is responsible for Lu'er and takes care of both mother and son together. LV Rong gently held her husband's hand and comforted him gently. Wen Tao, don't be angry yet. We have a grandson. It's a happy event no matter what. Xiao Rong, are you trying to protect them? If you let them get used to this, be careful. Even Xinglu follows suit. Won't the Tang family be in chaos in the future? Now it is the son who is making other people's daughters pregnant. If he becomes their daughter, they will be angry to death. They are too small. I know, don't be angry first. If they are willing to give birth, our Tang family will raise them. It's not like we can't afford them. Lu Rong comforted softly and looked at Yang Yanliu with a smile. Yanliu, since your parents knew you were pregnant, why didn't they come together? Even if it was a discussion, the two families had to sit down together to discuss it. By the way, what's your family's business? Yang Yanliu looked up at Lu Rong, then lowered his head in fear. My parents are just ordinary middle-class people. Middle class? Lu Rongwei's eyes became colder, and she looked at her son meaningfully, and then at the timid Yang Yanliu. It turned out that he was a child from a poor family, not a rich family. Grandma Tang sighed slightly, stopped talking, and left directly. What's going on with the Tang family recently? Everyone has a big belly and wants to enter the Tang family. Grandma Tang left, and Tang Xingai was a little panicked. Could it be that he refused to agree? Dad, Mommy, Lu'er and I are high school classmates. We have been dating for half a year, and our relationship has always been very stable. I believe we will live a good life in the future and won't cause you any trouble. Tang Xingai reiterated that he was afraid that his father-mom seemed not to believe it. Okay, We get it. Lu Rong smiled slightly, turned around and spoke to Tang Wentao softly. The juniors have already made their decision, let's respect them. After all, the child in Yanliu's belly is the flesh and blood of our Tang family. We can't separate them, and we don't want the child. Xiao Rong, you can't spoil them. Wen Tao, I know what you are thinking. Now that you have a child, you have to give birth to it. Let me handle this matter. I will visit the Yang family in a few days to discuss future matters. Dad Tang glared at his son with hatred, turned around and left angrily. His heart couldn't bear it at all, and he was almost mad at them these past few days. Tang's father left. Tang Xingai relaxed instantly and happily ran to Lu Rong, hugging her shoulders intimately. Mommy, I love you so much, and you are the best to me. If his mother hadn't been here this time, the matter between him and Luer wouldn't have been resolved so quickly. You boys, now you know that mother is better. Come with me. Lu Rong stood up with a loving smile, pretending to be angry, turned around and smiled at Yang Yanliu. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 580. Chapter 580. Just a child 5. Lu Rong turned around and smiled at Yang Yanliu. Yanlu, you stay here first, and I'll teach this brat a lesson. Lu Rong took her son away and went to the guest room next door. You boy, Lu Rong burst out laughing and rubbed his son's head. You asked your mother to become a grandmother at a young age in her 30s. You are getting better and better. He. Tang Xingai smiled, blaming him for not being careful. Thank you mom for your support. I'm not supporting you. The smile on Lu Rong's face disappeared and became serious. Tang Xingai didn't expect that his mother's expression would change so easily, and the words she said would change. Why? Mom, you just said you would support me. If his mother doesn't support him, things between him and Luer will become unknown. It's not that I don't support you, but I have a condition. Conditions? What conditions? Tang Xingai suddenly became nervous. He asked why the matter was resolved so smoothly this time, and there were still conditions. You must study hard and get into a good financial school. When you go to college, you can study in your father's company. You can make a difference in the Tang dynasty group in the future. Tang Xingai was dumbfounded. He didn't expect his mother to make such a request, and his brows instantly furrowed. Mom, I don't want to go to school for finance and economics, and I don't want to join my dad's company to learn business. Then I won't help you anymore with your matter with Yanliu. Mom, why? Tang Xingai didn't expect that his mother would be like this. Instead of simply supporting him, she would actually ask him to give up his favorite painting. He can't do it. He also wants to enter the Academy of Fine Arts in college. As his sister-in-law said, pursuing a career you like will be easier and more satisfying than forcing yourself to do something you don't like. I know what you are thinking. Do you plan to rely on your painting to support your wife and children in the future? Even if you want to, will your girlfriend be willing? You must enter your father's company to study before I approve you to be together. You too, since you make mistakes at a young age, you have to pay some price. Lu Rong's attitude was very clear. If he wanted her to support Tang Xingai and Yang Yanliu, he had to put down his beloved painting. Lu Rong used to be very distressed about her son's academic performance and lack of interest in the Tang dynasty group. Now that his son has an additional weakness, he can correct his thinking. Mom, I don't want it, I want to learn to paint. Tang Xingai is also very stubborn. He doesn't want to give up his favorite painting. Lu Rong didn't expect her son to be so determined. Her eyes turned red and she burst into tears. As soon as Lu Rong cried, Tang Xingai panicked and immediately started coaxing his mother. Mom, don't cry. I'm really not interested in doing business. I don't want to join my father's company. I just love painting. Lu Rong pushed her son's hand away and cried sadly, bursting into tears. Mom, I only have a son like you, and Xinglu will also get married in the future. If one day your father is gone and your son is still pursuing painting, how can you let me, a mother, live? Who will support me? Who will support your wife? Who raises your son? You are your mother's only support. All you think about is painting. Is painting more important than me as a mother? Lu Rong cried sadly, which made Tang Xingai panic. His determination to pursue the path of painting became uncertain and confused. Mom, can you give me some time to think about it? End of this chapter.